Coming to balance is something that true athletes will do without even knowing the term, using their innate kinaesthetic awareness to put their bodies into the most efficient position possible to perform an athletic movement. It entails dropping their center of gravity into a crouched position while staying balanced and transitioning into the next movement, whether that be juking from one side to the other, stepping into a shot, or preparing to deliver or receive a body check. Variation number 1 of this drill is the stop on a dime variation. Have players lined up roughly 10 to 15 meters away from the sideboards, with players facing the boards, otherwise any open space works fine. When the coach says go or blows their whistle, all players run towards the designated line or pylons at progressively faster speeds each rep through the drill, starting at 50% speed. The goal of the players is to slow their momentum and come to balance as they approach the line or pylons, attempting to stop exactly on the designated line without losing their balance or falling forward beyond the line. Coaches should identify the proper speed to challenge the athleticism of the players, having them perform several reps at their ideal speed, attempting to get to full speed with more advanced athletes. Variation 2, the balance, engage, and release variation, puts players into a more game-like context, with players put into a single file line and running towards a cluster of pylons in an equilateral triangle formation, 2 meters by 2 meters by 2 meters. The first couple times through the drill, players run without balls up to the top pylon, come to balance, then side shuffle in a semicircle formation from side pylon to side pylon, mimicking a loose ball scrum, eventually sprinting out of the drill, which is variation 2A and not shown in this video. Players should switch which side of the triangle they start their side shuffle on each time through. Eventually, a pile of balls for players to scoop a loose ball from should be added to the drill, which is variation number 2B. The other option is for coaches to roll a loose ball into the drill as players are completing their side shuffle pattern. Variation number 3 is to come to balance and roll off a check. Have players start in single file lines that are facing each other 5 to 10 meters apart. The first 2 players run towards each other at 25% speed, come to balance, and body check each other, or a coach with a checking pad, trying to spin or roll off the check as the contact is initiated. Progressively build up the speed that players approach at. Start the drill with no balls, which is variation 3A, and advance to both players having balls, attempting not to drop them as they initiate their contact, which is variation 3B, with players exiting the drill to the back of the opposite line after taking their turn. Coaches should demo how to give and take a check before any contact drill that's being introduced. In the case of body contact, there's a saying in American football that says, "The low player wins," meaning whoever gets the lowest will fare the best in a contact situation. In this variation, coaches should demonstrate how coming to balance applies to body contact and how to give and receive a hit safely in lacrosse. For one, you will recognize that this drill is an open floor check and not by the boards, with the danger zone being 2 meters away, where if players are hit the wrong way, they are liable to go headfirst into the boards and face potentially catastrophic consequences. Anytime a player is near the boards, they're better to position themselves flush to the boards, in which case any player trying to hit them will bounce off and likely take the worst of the hit. Finally, variation number 4 is the open floor check, which is the same as the previous variation, except there is now a defensive line with no balls and an offensive line with balls. Lines can be north-south, as seen in the diagram, or east-west in orientation. After receiving a body check from the defender, the ball carrier attempts to continue their momentum toward the net for a shot, with both players switching lines after the drill. Learning how to come to balance might be the most underrated skill that coaches neglect in teaching. If you get the chance, make sure to build at least variation 1 of this drill into a practice early in your season, ideally doing a full segment on body contact before the first game.